pull up a chair and let me ask you a question that sounds both ridiculous and a little funny if I told you to point at the internet. Where would you point? Let me guess. The sky, somewhere among those fluffy white clouds. Where you imagine your cute cat photos and electricity bills are floating around. It sounds reasonable. Because for years, the tech industry has been selling us a pastel-colored dream called the cloud. But sorry in advance, that's a premium-grade marketing illusion. The cloud isn't in the sky. It isn't soft. It isn't white. And it definitely isn't drifting next to any angels. Get ready for a shock. The truth is, the internet sits right beneath your feet. More precisely, inside a corroding metal pathway so deep that sunlight barely bothers to visit. Hold on to that curiosity because the deeper you dig, the wetter this story gets. So how did the softest thing in our imagination turn out to be one of the heaviest, most steel-bound systems on Earth? Erase the image of Wi-Fi floating like an electronic ghost in the air. The real internet is brutally physical. It doesn't drift freely through space. And it certainly doesn't run on team spirit like telecom commercials love to claim. The internet is metal. It is optical plastic. It is hundreds of thousands of miles of silent cables lying flat on the ocean floor. Those bundles look like giant strands of spaghetti tossed into the deep sea just to stay out of shipping lanes. You think I'm joking? Not at all. A single submarine cable can be as thick as an adult's arm, wrapped in layers like a knight's armor steel. Plastic. Copper. And at the very center, hair-thin glass fibers where light actually flows. That light is the data you read every day. The message that says, "Did you eat yet?" Your electricity bill. Or the series you binge overnight. All of it slides through a tiny optical thread hidden inside a cable weighing tons. It's a strange image, the most advanced technology of the 21st century carried inside a pipe resting on the seabed. But don't look away yet. Because the wildest part comes next. The internet is so wet that even sharks are interested in it. Here's the moment that makes people want to stand up and walk around to calm down. 99% of global data travels through submarine cables, not satellites. Not space routing, just wires buried in mud. Picture this, you're watching Netflix. The movie streams so smoothly you assume the data is coming down from the sky. Nope. That film just took a swim across the Atlantic Ocean, climbed onto land, passed through a relay station, jumped into your home modem, and appeared on your screen. A fiber as thin as a human hair can carry millions of gigabits per second. It sounds like magic. But it's simply light bouncing continuously inside glass, so pure that even dust would feel embarrassed touching it. As light travels at about 200,000 kilometers per second through that cable, it drags along everything: live streams, banking transactions, video calls, and even those heated arguments you have online. And yet, that ultra-pure material rests in a world of mud, next to sea worms, beside shipwrecks. A contrast so absurd it almost makes you laugh. Keep this question in mind. If humanity's most important data lies under the sea, what happens when a shark gets curious? Don't laugh too quickly. History has receipts. Whenever your internet lags, you probably stare at your router, sigh, and blame your provider. But sometimes, the troublemaker is swimming thousands of kilometers away. Submarine cables have been bitten more times than you'd expect. Sharks don't understand data, but they're attracted to the electromagnetic fields around the cables. To them, the line looks like a glowing prey, and since sharks don't bother distinguishing real from fake, they take a bite. Realizing it's not food, they swim away. Humanity's internet, however, pays the price. Still, sharks are only supporting characters. The main villains on this stage are human ships, a misplaced anchor, a trawler dragging nets too deep, and a cable worth hundreds of millions of dollars can snap like a strand of noodles. When that happens, an entire country's internet may flicker like Christmas lights. Repair crews must send specialized ships, fish the cable ends up from the seabed, cut and fuse them back together with lasers. then lower them down again. These tasks sound like science fiction. Yet they happen more often than you think. Which leads to one final question. Why do we accept such massive risks just to send memes to each other? The answer lies in the closing thought. Don't miss it. Next time your connection lags, don't look up at the sky and start praying. There's no cloud up there. The problem might be thousands of meters underwater, where a curious shark is testing humanity's durability, or where an anchor has decided to play the villain. The funny thing is, the more you understand where the internet really lives, the more you realize we rely on a system so fragile that a single bite could make an entire nation furious. And inside that fragility lies human engineering. At its brightest, we turned light inside glass fibers into the bloodstream of the world. If you enjoy exposing more tech myths like the cloud actually lives in ocean mud, pull your chair closer, hit subscribe, and let me brew a few more stories that will flip your perspective upside down. There are still plenty of secrets waiting to be dragged up from the ocean floor.